Welcome to This Is My Architecture. My name is Ran, and joining me today is Yuda from Fyber. Hi, Yuda.
Hi.
Before we get into the architecture, tell us a bit about Fyber.
So Fyber help mobile developers monetize from ads.
Okay, how do they do that?
So we do that by connecting by advertisers and mobile developers.
Okay,
We are getting 500,000 ad requests each second, and we go out to advertisers and try to get ads from those ad requests. We go out to advertisers about 15 million times each second,
okay,
which generate a lot of events.
okay. Tell us how those events look like and what you do with them.
All right. So those 15 million events each seconds go to our Kafka. We have a Spark streaming application who reads the data from Kafka and put it in S3 in Parquet format. We have Spark running on EKS triggered by Airflow and aggregating the data again to S3 to a more aggregated data and also into Cassandra, and also triggers EMR to read the data from S3 and put it into Druid.
Okay, so that's an interesting data flow. You're running your Spark applications on Kubernetes. That's a rather new approach. Tell us a bit about it and what it solves for you.
Our old approach was to run with Yarn, to run Hadoop machines on demand, and it was not as cost effective. And we wanted to look for a more efficient way of doing things. So we checked how to run Spark jobs on Kubernetes. We used EKS to make it faster, not build our own. And it seemed to be very cost effective, very stable.
Okay, it seems like you're using Spotinst here. That's an AWS technology partner. What does it do for you?
So the reason this technology is so efficient is because it's auto-scaling and using Spot instances. So we use Spotins. We have a pod of Spotins inside our Kubernetes cluster who listen to our metric server and see if we need to spawn more machines up or actually to reduce machines.
Okay, so when Airflow schedules a job on EKS, a Spark job on EKS, Spotinst actually looks at the utilization. If it needs to scale, it increases the size of the cluster with Spot instances.
Yeah, he's listening all the time.
So auto-scaling and Spot instances running with Spark on Kubernetes, that's got to be major cost savings, right?
Yeah, the numbers are about 90% cost saving from old setup.
Great, sounds really good. So as far as I understand, you have several different data sources feeding into your dashboard. I'm assuming due to different data structure, access patterns. Tell us a bit about those architectural decisions that you made with those.
So those have evolved through requirements from our customers. So in the beginning, they were very humble. They just want to see how much revenue they made previous day, 7 days ago, 30 days ago. And then they want to know some more data. They want to know how much they make per country, how much they make per application that they own. And still, Cassandra is a very good setup. You can see a whole year of revenue in milliseconds, fast, cheap, and very efficient. And then they wanted more. They want to see, okay, so how am I doing per gender? How am I doing per age? How am I doing per creative ID, campaign ID, and 50 other more dimensions? So that's a challenging thing. 50 more dimensions, even if the cardinality is 10, it's 10 in the power of 50. So we really scratch our heads and come up with Druid. So we have Druid with open source called Pivot in the UI. You can drag and drop different dimensions, and you can see your revenue per every combination of dimensions that you like.
So those are feeding the dashboard, and what about Presto?
So we have, at Fyber, 1 billion users using our systems. We have a lot of data about the users. So you want to see a snapshot of 1 billion different users in 1 second, very fast. This Druid cannot handle. Druid is very good for data series, not very good for snapshots. So Presto is actually fit for the job. And actually the people who develop it, Facebook, created Presto for exactly the same purpose, to power their audience setup in Facebook. So the right tool for the job. It's reading data directly from S3 because it's a database engine. and not a database per se, like Cassandra or Druid. And it's that.
Great. So I really like the fact that this architecture contains a database engine, like you mentioned, and different databases which are purpose-built for the job instead of kind of a one-size-fits-all. And of course, Spark on Kubernetes, the next big thing. A lot of customers like that. It sounds great that you're doing that with auto-scaling and spot instances. Thanks very much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching This Is My Architecture.